Hey guys, so pretty much done with the build. I'm at the point where I don't really want to invest anymore because it's getting close to 10 divs an item for an upgrade, and I don't really want to do that. Of course, you can still invest more into the build, but I'll show you how it is right now. I guess most people are pretty much just interested in breach, so I'll show the tier 3 breach. So the build, it's a Pathfinder, so obviously it's clearing well enough. Well, I mean, it's fast, right? Like I'm just moving. I don't need to stop, right? I did manage to reduce on the amount of buttons that I am pressing for a single target, which I am happy about, since I managed to find a way to generate power charges in two different ways actually. Since one is with the dodge, since I am dodging. Oh, what's happening? This guy is not dying. I am dodging the boss attacks anyway, so I figured might as well generate charges so I can, get charge staff. And the other way is actually two new support gems, and I added them to the bell. I'll show you what they do. It's probably it's good because it guarantees me a power charge, which is pretty much all I need. I don't really need like all three. I just need one, and I guess duration. And so I have a way to generate power charges with the bell, which is cool. But the downside is that you now need 10 attacks instead of 4. Granted, you can potentially take some nodes. There's new nodes that give additional combo buildup. I was considering taking them, but in the end, I didn't. But you can do that if you want to. It's gonna feel a little bit more smooth against bosses, especially map bosses. Because against map bosses, you don't really need the power charges or anything. Just demolish them. But against the Xesht 3, he's got a little bit more health, so I do need the extra damage that I get from the bell, and well, 2 bells, and charge staff as well. But as you can see, the clear is good because, well, it's Pathfinder playing a cool skill, Stormwave, right? So let me just pick these things up. Give me the brute rings. They sell pretty well if you craft a little bit on them. Oh, there's one more. So of course, as I've said, I don't have any freeze. My stun is fairly mediocre. So I still need to dodge the abilities, which is why I have the illusion, right? To generate power charges. And if I don't need to, I generate them with the bell. So of course we're gonna use the Chayula hand. Now the biggest issue for me right now is mana. Because I'll show you the item, I guess. Okay, now time to... And we're out of mana. But yeah, it's like mana is a little bit of an issue, so you need to manage the mana pots a little bit. You can of course invest into nodes that give some mana efficiency. I do have one on my anoint. That's about it. It would be good to get a little bit more. Maybe actually move some passives from, like the weapon set passives. Could be good. But I guess we're gonna go over the tree. And, well, no, let's go over the spore gems first. So, what I did is, I'm now making use of Hand of Shayula, which lets us go to 100 shock very easily. If you were watching, I had 100 shock. I do need to crit, though, for the shock to be 100. But it's fine. Like, my Tempest Flurry is probably at about 40 or 50 something crit chance, so we do crit fairly often. And when we do, we get the 100% shock. So in Hand of Chayula, I have Voltaic Mark and Ele Weakness. We're still using Leopolds because Rakyata is like 14 divides or something like that, so I'm just not gonna, invest that much into one support gem. And the Leopolds right now are very cheap, so instead I opted out for Leopolds with just 2 attack speed talismans. They are pretty expensive, 3 divines each, so but let's continue over the gems. So we're using Wind Dancer. Wind Dancer by itself actually kills mobs with this setup, pinpoint and ambush. So if the mob is on full and it's like white or blue, depending on the mob type, it just one taps the mobs. Still using cannibalism, of course. Magnified area, just it's a little bit bigger. Herald of Thunder, pretty much the same thing. You know, just damage in here. Same thing. Nothing really changed. Tempest Bell. This is where I changed the most, I want to say, along with adding these two, but I'll talk about them soon. So Tempest Bell, where Rage still is in. Now we're using our Abundance. Can't remember if we were using our Abundance before, but now we are. And Delayed Gratification. So this new gem makes it so that we need 10 combos to use the bell, which is why I said that against map bosses, you know, you could probably just take this one out because it takes, you know, a while to hit 10 times. It's like 2 full combos, something like that. So, you know, you can't take this out. But if you get this gem along with this one, Aelith's Chimes, a 10% chance to get a power charge when expending combo. So we're expending 10 combo, which guarantees us a power charge. Sadly, even though this thing allows us to recast the bell, the second cast does not give a power charge because we're, I guess, not expending combo. We're just getting a free cast. But you know, one power charge is basically enough. Then you get charge staff, and then you just slam on the boss. Sadly, I was out of mana for most of the time in that fight when I was trying to press the charge staff, so I just used most of my attacks on the Tempest Bell without having the charge staff. So, but anyway, you know, mana is a different issue, but you can fix that with levels. I'm only 93, so you know there's still plenty of you for you to gain if you wanna push this further. Charge staff, still using duration, conk effect. I switched to this because, you know, I just need more single target damage. That's about it. Like map clear is fine. Stormwave by itself just clears perfectly fine. I did add Lingering Illusion for bosses, but it also serves very well in mapping as well, because you do still end up like dodging an ability here and there, you know, like some of the ground effects. And when you do, you get a power charge, sometimes 2, and sometimes even a frenzy charge, which, you know, when we have frenzy charge, we get skill speed, which is nice, makes our mapping smoother. Endurance charges, we're also sometimes getting them, you know, randomly, so it's just a nice overall thing to have. And I have profusion on both Lingering Illusion and the bell, so you know we can generate sometimes a charge. Oh, this charge profusion 1. I need to change that. But anyway, prolonged duration as well on this thing, so the illusion lasts a little bit longer, so you don't need to. Well, so because the mob actually needs to hit and destroy the illusion, so that's why, you know, prolonged duration is pretty good over here. So for Tempest Flurry, nothing really changed. Same gems. Rapid attacks 2, Crescendo 2, Lightning Attunement, Elemental Armament, Close Combat 2. Stormwave, also nothing changed. One thing to know is that ideally you want to have this on like as close to 50% as possible, so you always crit at full life enemies. I moved some points around, so I'm not at 100% chance. And yeah, that's about it for the gems. So there's also some cool tech that you can do, since now weapon swap is instant, and you can actually have you know, even the same staff for 2 different purposes. But since I was crafting a better staff, but sadly I missed the crit, I managed to you know, hit the essence for all levels on my crit roll. So that was unfortunate, and I don't want to use this staff on for mapping, so I'm using my old staff for mapping, which just has more crit. Because with this thing, you know, like I have a good amount of crit chance, and it just makes, you know, mapping feel a little bit smoother. Even though this is a worse staff, but mapping is a little bit better with it. Just because, you know, we're just critting all the time against full enemies, so it ends up being more damage. So for the staff, you can craft this, but like it's so annoying to craft in this game. You know, you buy the 3 base, you slam Transmute and Dog. The increased elemental damage is actually not bad. As you can see here, I have increased lightning damage. If you don't roll all 3 physical, this is like the best outcome that you can have if it's not all 3 physical on the prefixes. So aim for something like this. Obviously, after you transmute, aug, crit essence, then you wanna fill the suffixes, and then you just slam exalts basically, and then at the very end, if you were lucky, you're gonna, you know, desecrate. Well, when you need one more prefix, when there's one prefix left, you desecrate. Hope that it's something good over there, and if it's good, then you can slam the essence for attack skills. Other than that, don't bother. But anyway, like, or just buy one of these. Also, if you do end up with a non-physical staff, the increased attack damage against rare or unique enemies, like I have here, is good. If you don't plan on using the staff for mapping, this is sort of also why I'm not using this for mapping. I'm just using this for bossing. But you know, I have Tempest Flurry on my bossing staff. I have well, charge staff I have on both, on whatever, whether I'm mapping or killing bosses. Tempest Bell I have on my bossing. And I think for Herald of Thunder it doesn't work anymore, but regardless, I want crit. And also Hand of Chul I have for set to bossing. So, well, you know, single target skills set to my bossing staff, and my clear staff is the one with the crit. You don't have to do this obviously, but I'm just saying what I did. And now, because I got things like that, I also allocated some points, so I don't need shock magnitude while I'm mapping. So I put these on the bossing set. And also while I'm mapping, can I like highlight these somehow? No, I can't. Basically for bossing I have the shock magnitude, so this didn't change. As you can see, I moved some points around, if you remember, if you watched my previous video. So this is a better pathing. This is a very solid node. This is also good. Obviously, you know, we don't have exposure. Technically you could add exposure if you get some cold damage on somewhere. Like on one of the rings, if you get cold damage, you could add for charge staff, instead of elemental focus, you could add cold exposure, and when you crit, you will apply exposure. So technically, it's good. Like you could benefit from the increased crit chance. You should probably do that if you have some cold. I don't, so I'm not doing it, but do it if you have. So for these three and these nodes are for the bossing, because this only works against bosses anyway and rares. And for mapping, I have these two as well as these two. This gives a little bit of AoE, so makes our Stormwave a little bit better. Not too much, but still something. Adds 0.1 to its width. And these, you know, for movement speed penalty reduction, so we're fast while attacking. Even without it, you're still fast. But with it, you know, it's just also very nice. So, oh, I guess the rest of the items. So I upgraded my helmet, but it's basically the same thing, just, you know, life evasion, deflection. I don't know, probably don't even go for deflection. I'm not a very big fan of deflection. Get this body armor if you can, Corsair coat, because of the movement speed reduction, so you're just super fast at all times. Leopold's gloves, like I've said, try looking for 2 sockets, so you can socket in 2 attack speed nodes, makes everything much smoother. Boots, probably the same boots, not even 30 or 35 movement speed, you know, they're pretty ass. Solid belt, nothing crazy. Solid amethyst ring, I guess. A little bit of flat, some life. And 35 spirit on the amulet, which you do need to have everything that I have. And yep, that is it. I'm gonna preach Pathfinder every single time I'm playing Path of Exile, because, you know, Pathfinder is just so much quality of life, so don't hesitate, just play Pathfinder, don't play Dead Eyes. This is much better, trust me. Anyway, that is it for today, and I'll be cooking up some other builds, likely, very soon. So, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.